I'll come to you, CK.
You can.
This is the first local game I've covered in about 2 years.
Yeah, I know. Where's Craig? Is he on
He's been on holidays there.
Well, after nearly a 4-month wait, finally we have some top-flight football in northern New South Wales. And this afternoon it is the long-awaited grand final rematch. And Maitland have had to wait longer than most for their shot at revenge against Edgeworth Eagles. It's been a week of turmoil for the Eagles. Damien Zane has departed as head coach. Keelan Hamilton, his former assistant, now takes over the role for the rest of the season. And he's downstairs with Chris Turner.
Thanks, Bart. Yeah, I'm here with Keelan Hamilton. Keelan, all a bit of a rush. Everything that's coming will be quick as kick-off's about to jump in. But how are you feeling, first game in charge?
Yeah, good, mate. It's been a busy week, obviously, and a bit of a shock when Damien exited on Monday. But it's been fine. The players have been great, and they're prepared to go today. Obviously, it's going to be a tough tussle. Maitland are a fantastic side and the reigning premiers, but we'll give it a good shake and we'll go from there.
Yeah, just one real quick one. Total acknowledgement for what Zaney's done at this club and with the group. Any changes today from what you guys have been working on?
No, we're as programmed, so no changes. What we've been working on for the last 5 weeks since we've come back from the coronavirus break. And yeah, I just want to say I've got full respect for what Damien's done at the club, and he gave me an opportunity here, and I'm really grateful for that, and hopefully I can help continue on the legacy that he's left.
Yep, hope so too, and good luck. All the best for today. Cheers.
Thanks to Chris Turner and Keelan Hamilton downstairs before this round one clash between Maitland and the Edgeworth Eagles. Edgeworth with just 5 players from the grand final side last year, that 2-0 win against Maitland at Magic Park. Remaining out there for Maitland, they've got 9. And they get us underway in the 2020 NPL Northern New South Wales season. Those 2 changes for Maitland, Ryan Clark and Matt Thompson, both departed the club during the off-season. And Braden Crowley, the new recruit, alongside Matt Swan, who missed the grand final as he was on holidays last year. Here's Hosea Tatey. He's one of the returning Eagles this year. On to Dylan Holtz, who he too didn't play in that grand final victory. Now Swan towards the byline. Does well to keep it inside, but a clearance only as far as Holtz. Now the header towards the line from Thornton. Joel Wood trying to win the ball in the air. Edgeworth have won the last 2 against Maitland and 20 of the last 25. Just 1 win for Maitland against the Eagles since 1997. It's been a domination from the home side this afternoon. A free kick from Aidan Bryce, back from Victoria this year to play for the Eagles. Now Burns clearance towards Thompson. Mitch Hunter, one of the new Eagles. He was at Lake Macquarie last season. Now to Rose and a Tatey. Chris Turner has joined me up in the commentary box as we see a free kick here going to the Magpies CT. How do you see this one playing out, especially after a difficult week for Edgeworth, but we know how settled they've been, and you just don't expect too much to change, do you? Because not much phases them.
No, that's right, and it's great to be back, Bart. Absolutely awesome. Concerned about the weather earlier this morning for this afternoon. It's been a cracker of a day. Certainly holding up well here. In answering your question, it's going to be tight. This is a grand final rematch. I've been looking forward to this for a long, long time.
Here's Josh Rose's cross. It's a ball in behind, and Christian Brymora from Magic. That is a dangerous ball, but straight into the arms of Matt Trott. What kind of impact can he have at the Eagles? He's looking fit, Christian Brymora. He was at Magic last year and just struggled to score goals in the early part of his stint. He did come into some good form at the back end of his time there. He actually scored He's actually scored 2 goals in his last 4 NPL Northern New South Wales matches. Tries to get on the end of that ball. Now Tatey. James Thompson. Ball is over the line for an Eagles throw.
Not too narrow, too early.
Surprisingly, CT, Dan Fabrizio, the hero in the grand final, 2 goals inside the last 10 minutes of that match. He's on the bench this afternoon.
Well, it is interesting, and he's fit. He's playing well, apparently. I did have a chance to chat with Keelan Hamilton yesterday, and he said to me that the people that they've got on the bench, which includes Tyson Jackson, I should say, Corley, Moore and Fabrizio, the man we were just talking about, they're absolute weapons to have on the bench. And he said it's all part of a bigger plan. We know Zane is well known for his rotation of players.
Will Keelan Hamilton take on a similar plan this year? There's Braden Crowley, the new man, the golden boot last year at Lambton Jaffers, and probably the talk of the pre-season. Before we went into lockdown, CT, Braden Crowley switched from Lambton to Maitland. It did happen late last year, so sort of fizzled out by the start of this year, and now we've had a lot of drama in the last week. 2 coaches gone.
That's true, and I can't wait to see his impact, Crowley, on the Maitland side. Definitely an acquisition Bulch would be delighted with.
Well, they've got some arsenal, so they've got 29 goals from last season in their squad in terms of the 2 strikers, Joel Wood and Braden Crowley. That's some quality. There's a throw going the Eagles' way. Joel Wood with 14, Crowley 15 in the last campaign.
Now, Bart, a few exciting things here this afternoon. One, we see the great Graham Jennings nearby. We're going to try and get a hold of him at some point, ask him a question or two through the afternoon. We'll see how that pans out. John Hamilton in close proximity as well. See if we can get him in our sights, along with the Edgeworth faithful up in this viewing platform, the Eagles Nest Bar. One thing I do want to mention is we are excited to have back man of the match, Harry Schnitty's man of the match, back in track. So what we're going to do here this year is going to include you guys as part of the voting process. So the way that this can happen, you can either send me a text or send me a message on Messenger, and as they come in, Bart will use those to help formulate who the man of the match is and give you guys at home a chance to make a choice, because let's face it, Bart, unlike Smudge, people at home actually know what they're looking at and their contribution is absolutely worthwhile.
That's fair enough. If you have just joined us for the first time, maybe you're watching this season, here's a confrontation against the touchline. Tom Davies, Mitch Hunter in there. Now Jose Tatey weaving away from his opposite number, Nick Cowburn. Now Josh Evans straight onto the right boot of Zach Thomas, who was one of Maitland's outstanding players last year, and that man was outstanding for Lambton. He almost had his first goal for his new club inside 10 minutes, CT. Well, not even inside 10, inside 7 minutes it would have been.
Well, Swan put his head in where it wasn't really required, and Crowley, that one just popped up beautifully for him. Technique was perfect. He just would have loved to have gotten over that fraction more than what he did, obviously. Just get through the ball, so just keep it a bit lower. But that's the threat he poses, Bart, and that's why Bolts will be so excited about his presence up front.
Yeah, and what I was saying was anyone that is watching this afternoon doesn't know who we're talking about. Damien Smith, he's sometimes part of the commentary team. More often, he's not part of the commentary team, but every now and then he makes a guest appearance, CT. So we might see him later on this season. Not here this afternoon.
No, rumour has it he was out.
Yes, you may.
Here's a ball from Swan onto Cowburn. There's some space that just opened up for him, but maybe the turf just gave way under him. He couldn't get the power behind the strike on goal.
Rumour has it regarding Smudge that he was out doing some shopping for furniture with his wife. No issue there, but the issue is that was after his pedicure. So, yeah, you're right. So, young Smudge I think he's got about 4 games penciled in for the year. It's not too bad out of the whole season, is it?
Well, that's a high distinction in his book. So it's
Anyway.
Josh Lowe with the goal kick for Edgeworth. He's got a new understudy, a South African, Shane Van Ass. He's from Durban.
Shane what, sorry?
Van Ass. That's how you
Well
pronounce it,
spoken.
CT.
Nice, I like it.
Is Carl Thornton curling one up the line. It's going to bend perfectly into the path of James Thompson. Wearing the number of Matt Thompson. So the Thompsons taking on similar numbers. No relation, those two. Matt Thompson has made the move from Maitland to Lambton. We'll bring those other scores to you. They're up against Lake Macquarie this afternoon. Dobson dropping it back to Josh Lowe. Thomas with a powerful header. Now Holtz. Well, that was interesting from Zach Thomas. Bit of an air swing, and Tom Davies, well, that is going to go out for a corner. Maybe he would have liked a bit more angle on it. So Edgeworth with a really good opportunity from the set piece. Remembering down that end here at Edgeworth, what is it, a couple of steps in to take the corner? It's one of the tightest corners in the competition.
It is, and this is where good technique comes into play when you don't have a run at it. It's only got literally a couple of steps.
Well, he's got some tall timber in the box. Pat Wheeler, Josh Evans is not in there. And there's the header away from Cowburn. Only as far as that man Wheeler, who hasn't scored an NPL goal since 2009. But I can report, CT, he did score in the Heritage Cup. So
I was just about to say, Bart, if Wheeler scored, then I would have gone home. Seriously.
well, it wouldn't be the first time you've left me in the lurch commentating a game.
Actually, that's true.
Here's Rose on to Mitch Hunter. An exciting addition for Edgeworth this season, Mitch Hunter. He spent some time in Germany, but also with the Newcastle Jets youth. And now Josh Rose playing in the final third this season.
So interesting. Have a look at the lineups here, Bart, as they've settled in to play. We've got clear back 4 for both sides here. It looks like 3v3 in the middle of the park, but the 2 Swans will sit and hold, and that's where they're doing their best. And possibly then having Cowburn sit in front of them, and he'll be their playmaker. So you can see that form more of a triangle more often than not. Woods, as we see, wide in the left.
Yeah, the 2 Swans are going to turn 34 next month. 2 of the veterans in this NPL Northern New South Wales. There they are alongside each other in the midfield. Christian Brymora couldn't keep it from crossing the chalk. There was a lot of talk in the preseason about Adam Blunden, a Central Coast product, coming in and playing at left fullback for Maitland this season. But I was chatting to the Magpies coach, Michael Bulch. He said due to the COVID-19 pandemic and with his work, he's opted to stay on the Central Coast this season, but he's probably going to come up and play for the Magpies next year. He's a mate of Sean Pratt, who is out with injury at the moment. He's probably got a week left with that ankle issue. Had a really good finish to the year. Last year did Sean Pratt, scored a few goals in the NPL finals. Now run to the semis, Maitland. Here's James Thompson. Cowburn away from a Tatey. There's Crowley with him. Drops it back for Swan. And now here's Thornton. It's not a bad delivery, but Josh Lowe, strong take up in the air. The ball just dropping in behind him. Here's Hunter. That is a terrific ball. Picks out Christian Brymora. Couldn't bring it down under the pressure from the Thornton boys and also Tom Davies. That just shows you the quality of Mitch Hunter. That ball straight across the park.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And like we're talking about the 2 Swan boys holding at the other end of the field, Wheeler's doing that same job. In front of him, he's got Jose and Dylan Holtz.
Well, Dylan Holtz strong there, but The final ball lets him down on that occasion. The premiers from last year, Maitland up against the champions in Edgeworth Eagles, who won the grand final against them. Here's the goal kick from Trott. Couple of bounces over the sideline, and CT, you've got a special guest.
Yeah, special guest indeed. So with me here, Bart, is Graham Jennings. Graham Jennings, Socceroo over a period of 20 years, played 84 times for our country, and straight out of Hamilton in Newcastle, and been a wonderful product over a long, long time. Flash, thanks for joining us.
It's great just to see football being played again, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely it is. I note that the Jennings medal, something that's very, like it must be an honour to have a medal of that nature named after yourself. And just come back to that.
Yeah, Will Bell putting some pressure there on Tom Davies. So a corner here for Edgeworth.
And that link to you and to the Northern football is a strong one.
It is. I think over the first 2 years it was fairly intimidating for me to have a medal named after me, but I'm slowly coming to grips with it. But as I've said in the past, I'm only a representation of the players that have played before me and the players that will come.
There's Bauer's ball across goal.
That'll come after me.
Well, obviously, as the Federation have done, if they had to pick a worthy person, that's certainly yourself. Now, just getting on a technical side of things here for a moment, Flash, you've mentioned the matchup between Cowburn and Pat Wheeler.
I think if two players are going to have a bearing on today's outcome, it'll be those two players. And already we can see Cowburn pushing right up in the forward line, which isn't giving either player much space. So it'll be interesting to see how fitness pans out as to how closely they can stay together during the game as to who's going to come out on top of that.
And specifically into the formation, both sides playing a 4-3-3, but we've got Maitland having the two Swan guys sitting with Cowburn in front, and in reverse we've got what appears at this stage Pat Wheeler sitting with two guys in front of him. How do you see the balance of that happening? Like when you're playing a game and your experience, when you've got just those little imbalances that maybe aren't that pickable to the naked, the general watcher, but someone as specific as played like you have, how do you match that off?
It's interesting to say that. Some players can see it very quickly and pick that up, and they're the players you look for quickly in midfield.
Well, Joel Wood finding some space down the left edge. Aidan Bryce tracking back. Curled in just behind Braden Crowley. And now the two Swan boys getting involved. Dylan Holtz, that's an important win there in the midfield. Showing his strength as always. Might go back to you, CT.
Yeah, and we were talking about the Jennings medal before. This whole concept is great, and it works a bit like the Dally M, doesn't it, where players are rewarded points each week.
Yeah, I think it's a great concept. I think players like it, they enjoy it, even though they play for their team. It's nice to look in the paper on a Monday to see how you actually went in that particular game. So hopefully we can push that with the Federation this year so we can get a greater presence for the medal early on in the year. It's only a short season, but we give a great impetus straight from the start and create that interest.
Yeah, I totally agree. We had the group of us, including yourself and Bar TV, had some discussion regarding what we'd like to see happen. We thought maybe the first 6 rounds we advertise who's doing what, and then we let it go dark from 6 rounds on. Federation had a different thought on that one. They thought in rounds 4 and in round 9 that we'd let people know. We then had another discussion and thought we'll approach the Federation again and see if we can keep that thing happening till round 6. But I've put in a couple of calls personally. I haven't had any response yet, so still to wait to hear back on that one. If you've got any feedback at that at home, feel free to send me a text or a message on what you'd like to see happen.
There's Joel Wood's ball dangerously in. Yeah, and I think that's what they do with the Brownlow and the Dally M. They do release it for the first portion of the season, and then it goes behind closed doors. Here's Christian Brymora collected by Carl Thornton. The Edgeworth bench thinking it should have been a free kick. Zach Thomas alongside him, so you couldn't say it was the final man in terms of Carl Thornton, but the challenge was fairly dangerous in itself. No whistle. And Edgeworth playing on through Mitch Hunter. Cowburn with the intervention. CT, what were your thoughts on that? That was an awkward moment for Maitland.
Yeah, it certainly was, and there was a big appeal go up. I'll just take this opportunity really quickly, Flash, while I've still got you here. Someone that's very close to me, Trevor Smythe, is at home watching today. I never actually saw Trevor play. Tell me about his game, because I know you hold a high opinion of him.
Trevor Smythe was one of my favourite players of all time. Trevor could play stopper, could play midfield, could play striker. In each position, he was a professional. He probably could have pulled the gloves on at some stage as well and done a great job there. Trevor is someone I wish would have played a lot longer and a lot more in the National League. I know he went down to Sydney early in his career, played at Western Suburbs, which was at that time one of the best teams in the State League. And then I had the fortune to play with him at Adamstown. He played a lot at Adamstown and eventually got a chance at KB. But I would have liked to see him in the National League a lot sooner.
Yeah, well, that's a fair rap. And I'll tell you, he'll be probably turning the TV down if he's hearing that, because he probably wouldn't want to hear that sort of rap. But yeah, and long-term coach of mine, and just really good to be able to hear someone that's been around, his playing career, because certainly his coaching career is one that was and is highly respected. Flash, we will try and catch up with you in the second half. Just based on what you've seen early, have you got a prediction on this one?
Too early to call. I'm a great fence sitter. So let's wait till the second half. Let's see how the end of this first half pans out. I want to see how fitness is going to impact both teams. Whether or not Edgeworth can create that extra man in midfield, which is their sort of game. They love playing from the back, through the midfield, up front. Maitland love getting it up there as quick as they can.
Well, this is what Maitland are doing right now. Braden Crowley and that. Well, what's happened there? Maybe a little bobble, and that has flown over the sideline.
Just one real quick thing I did want to ask you before we go. Josh Rose is playing high up in the park instead of his usual, as you did, at left fullback position. And he was known, just like you, to be down that left flank and getting crosses in and getting shots on goal. Any thoughts on why he might be playing centrally up front?
As left fullbacks get older, we think we're strikers as well. So we think we're the best thing. We're like goalkeepers. We think we can score goals. I think Edgeworth are going to miss him playing on the side. His distribution at the back, he's signed to put his foot on the ball, play nice long balls, play early balls into midfield, and gets forward a lot. So let's see how that pans out as well.
Yeah, well, they've got Mitchell Hunter sitting in that position at the moment, and he's no slouch. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Thanks for taking some time to have a quick chat, and we'll definitely see if we can catch up with you again in the second half. That was the great Graham Jennings.
Yes, thanks to Graham. Thanks to UCT as well for that chat. Yeah, Sam Walker and Mitch Oxford are the two winners of the Graham Jennings medal to this point, been in the Northern New South Wales NPL for the last couple of seasons. That medal has a better ring to it than Player of the Year, doesn't it?
Oh, it sure does. And the way that it's decked out, the actual award ceremony, we want to do it justice in the lead up and get and give it some build around and some excitement. There's an extra element to the competition.
So, as we expected, a really tight match this one this afternoon at Jack McLaughlin Oval in Edgeworth. And now Joel Wood dropping it back towards Liam Thornton, making the run towards the box. Now James Thompson gets a curling shot towards goal. It was never going to trouble Josh Lowe though. Straight at him. Nate Cavalieri, Edgeworth's back up towards the end of last season. He'll be playing for Hamilton this year. Is Will Bauer. Just trot on the ball. Zach Thomas just skimming this one forward to Josh Evans. And I know it's difficult, CT, for defenders to win Player of the Year awards, but people like Josh Evans, Carl Thornton as well for Maitland, they are some of the top players in this competition, and that's why I feel like sometimes they don't go rewarded, defenders. They don't get the accolades that the men up top do, or in the middle of the park.
You're right, Bart. Typically it's going to be your playmakers in the middle of the park, or it's going to be a striker who's banged in a tinful.
Here's Swan. I know a couple of years ago, the Bar TV player of the year we gave to Pat Wheeler. I'm pretty certain, so
That's
after
true.
a terrific season for Edgeworth. I don't know how you can fix that. It's a problem worldwide, really, with the Player of the Year awards. How you give defenders more of a go, because if a goalkeeper has a terrific year, I still think they can snatch an award because of the clean sheets. That stat can be really important, but with defenders, you know, what stats are made public that people are able to check all the time? You know, you've got goals and clean sheets. Defenders go a little unnoticed. Here's the throw for the Magpies. He's thinking forward. Josh Evans, strong call and on the ball in the air. Cowburn, the overlapping run of Swan. Does have the run of Thompson up the line. He just dinks it in front of Cowburn. A little one-on-one duel with Mitch Dobson, who did well. A young man who's come back from the US in the last year or so after a stint at Monroe College in New York. Speaking of clean sheets, 15 in 36 NPL matches for that man, Josh Lowe. Between the sticks at the Eagles' end. Brymora, well, just got in the way. Dylan Holtz there as Brymora tried to turn forward, and now there's some space in behind as Wood just dinking it towards James Thompson. And it's been Maitland who have probably had the better of the half chances up to this point, CT. Is that fair?
Yeah, you'd have to think so at this point, but it's been that close.
Well, here could be an opportunity on the way for Edgeworth as Tatey just measured the ball in front of Josh Rose. Again, Carl Thornton very, very strong at the back. He did spend some time in the holding midfield role, Carl Thornton, last year due to the riches at the back that Maitland had. Alex Reid spent some time in the back line. As centre half, Zach Thomas, as I mentioned earlier, outstanding for Maitland. Here's a throw-in for the Magpies. Is that another break in CT? What's going on with the alarm? It's going off all afternoon.
You can see all the numbered buildings over there. I think it was number 7 that time.
Yeah, new development here at Edgeworth. There's Rose, not on the same page as Will Bauer. Just heard players out there yelling about the need to talk, and that was the issue on that occasion. Thornton straight to Pat Wheeler. And now Rose, Tatey. Plenty of space out here on the left, isn't there, CT? And Tatey goes back towards the right. I know Brymora was free, but Josh Rose, didn't he have acres of space? Yeah,
he had a couple of options and he didn't get either of them right. However, this game is really starting to develop into a good one. There's good build-ups from both sides, good levels of possession. Final ball on each occasion, like that one from Lee Thornton.
Is that the difficult pass to see as a player when you're looking straight across the ground, to see that maybe just in behind you, out of your vision?
It just depends. Look, players have different patterns of movement in the way they angle and shape their bodies, and maybe he just didn't pick Brymora on that occasion.
Davies on to Cowburn. Thompson. Now Crowley. Now Thompson just clips it forward. Too heavy for Nick Cowburn. And all the talk in the off-season, the long off-season CT, has been about the Lambton Jaffas. And Maitland, last year's premiers, have just, as we said during the midweek show, just flown very steadily under the radar, as Michael Balch likes to do. But I think looking at those two sides, Lambton have got to bring all those new players together, all those quality players that we know they are together, whereas Maitland's side is very settled. As I said before you came up here, 9 of the 11 played in last year's grand final. And the only two changes are Matt Swan, who missed the game, and Braden Crowley, who's the new recruit. So that shows you not much change at Maitland during the off-season. That is one of the keys to success, having a consistent lineup. Now Thompson, lovely ball towards Crowley. It was just beyond his reach. Tell you what, if he reels that one in, there was a chance waiting for the new Maitland recruit.
Help him, Tommy, help him!
Cowburn, Crowley, lovely intricate play here is Crowley, but it was Mitch Dobson who went to ground and won the ball. Crowley will get another opportunity, and well, he just picked it out of the top corner, Josh Lowe. He read it well, didn't he?
Oh, he did read it well, and his position was low. But that turn from Crowley, that's where his strength is, just the ability to turn on a tight angle with players around him to get a stroke on goal, and he knew with his hands on heads what a good opportunity it was.
Swan, straight into the boot of Christian Brymora. Now Carl Thornton rolling it wide to his brother Liam. He curls a decent ball up the line. Wood tracks it just inside the byline, but Dylan Holtz is able to mop up for the Eagles. And now Josh Rose, can he release Bauer here? It's going to be a foot race. Will Bauer in behind and scored for it, the Edgeworth Eagles. The grand final winners strike first on opening day in 2020. And you'd probably say against the run of play, CT.
Well, down the other end, we had a good opportunity with Crowley. There was opportunities, but that ball from Josh Rose, that just pulls out the quality. It just separates him right onto the foot of Bauer, and then, as you said, it was a foot race, and what a finish that was. Can tell you the Edgeworth faithful, where we are, but just went crazy.
Well, this is an interesting move, and this would have to be due to an injury, you would think. So Keanu Moore is about to come on for Edgeworth and replace Dylan Holtz.
Rosie. Rosie, moving ball.
So there will have to be some tactical manoeuvres now from Keelan Hamilton. But lovely ball in behind, wasn't it, Will Bauer? And you don't see Tom Davies beaten for pace very often, do you?
No, I think just the quality of the ball from Rose, he just put it on the correct side of his body and just sent him on his way.
And the finish as well. Made it look easy past Matt Trott.
Great ball from Wheeler.
Aiden Bryce's first time ball. Whoa! A few things went flying, maybe some sunnies. That ball was taken in the behind the goal, so Matt Trott. Getting a bit cold, are you, CT? Got the jacket on already?
Yeah, I am. I'm just trying to do it up.
And he's trying to... Now I've got to hold the mic for you.
Actually, can you just stay there like that? That's pretty good.
I'll pass. Here's Braden Crowley. Well, this is the difficulty now for Maitland. Breaching this superb defence, which the Edgeworth Eagles have.
Not just me, but Jimmy Gardner's just put his jacket on as well, the Katara Bears jacket by the look of things. Katara Tigers, oh, well, there we go.
That's one of my former clubs, actually.
Well, mine too. Thought it was going to be a rugby league team for sure. Oh, there we go. There's a scoop. Jimmy Gardner coaching the under-9s at Katara South. We might have to get along there, but...
Call some games there. Sounds good. An 8-0 win.
8-0.
What about that?
Hang on, we'll see if we can interview him a bit later, get his formation, etc.
Super coach. Here's Mitch Hunter. Brian Moore. And Carl Thornton is able just to whip this one up the line. For James Thompson, well, he easily got away from Hosea Tatey. Now he's going to clip this one up and over the top for Joel Wood. And now Thornton. Might be able to hear Rod Lindsay on the sideline. Not happy that Hosea Tatey let James Thompson bump him over down on this near side of the ground. You can just hear that in the effects mic. Mitch Hunter. Well, he rolled it past Swan. Now Keanu Moore, who's come off the bench. Very skillful player. Hasn't actually scored a goal, though, in almost 3 years. Joel Wood looks up. Got men pushing forward here. Swan shaping up to shoot, and now James Thompson. Well, that pass just kept rolling away from him.
Well, if he had his time again, he would have pulled the trigger there and had a crack. Listen, Bart, it's 2020, first half. It's time for a joke, isn't it? How many
2020, that made me feel old, actually. Saying 2020.
How many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh?
How many?
10 tickles. 10 tickles. Don't try and not laugh, that's all right.
Well, considering our viewership has just halved in the last 10 seconds, that's why I'm not laughing. Here's Pat Wheeler. Bryce with the header into the path of Hosea Tatey. Now Swan to Thornton. And they conjure something up here, Maitland. They're going to need to, if they are to get something out of this match. It's still early days, though, inside the final 10 minutes of this first half. Swan in front of Crowley. But Josh Evans is just keeping a watchful eye over him. Andrew Swan in front of Crowley. He is onside. James Thompson in the middle. Well, it's very congested in there. Here is Wood with the strike, and Josh Lowe did really well. This is my question there. Braden Crowley brought all the defenders towards him at the near post. Where was the Maitland player in the middle? Right in the, basically in front of the penalty spot.
Well, that's how aware how dangerous Crowley is. Getting that much attention, it's going to open opportunities for other players. You're right, Bart. Absolutely spot on.
Yeah, James Thompson was basically drawn into the throng of players at that near post. Maybe if he stayed more centrally, there was a chance for an equaliser. And Joel Wood, in the end, just had a very difficult opportunity. Here's Will Bauer now, skipping past a couple, rolling in front of Brian Moore, looking for his first goal at his new club. Decent strike on goal, well blocked at Tatey. We know he can hit them from distance. We've seen some special strikes from him. And now just a little asleep at the wheel. That's Josh Rose saying you give the ball away like that and you'll get punished. And Joel Wood, he's attempting to do that, but the pass not quite having the Weet-Bix on it to find its way to Braden Crowley. Moore to Rose. Lots of players in the middle channel of the ground. They're just hanging off Josh Rose. Now Will Bauer with the strike. Fizzes across the turf and not the pace to trouble trot. Now Byrne. It's a good tackle from Keanu Moore, just nicking in from behind. Space in front of Keanu Moore here. Maybe a little nutmeg there on Swan. Free kick is going to go to Maitland. There's a bit of feeling out there all of a sudden.
That is for sure. This game has just gone up a notch in heat. Both teams desperate for the next goal.
And now Joel Wood. Space in behind here for Wood, who dinks it towards Crowley, and Josh Lowe again. Unblemished so far, the Edgeworth keeper.
Christian, we need more left hand.
You can hear the level of talk through the effects mic. We're getting some good talk this afternoon. Plenty of feeling out there in this grand final rematch, and it's Edgeworth leading. Will Bauer with the goal. He started last season on fire and then struggled towards the back end. He started this season off in a similar vein.
Let's go! Get up! Squeeze!
Barter caught up with Darren Green, golf professional at Toronto, just before the game. He's,
just hold on a sec. Here's Will Bauer running onto the ball from Aiden Bryce. Now a Tatey. There's more in the middle. Wheeler a little further back. Now Will Bauer trying to get it onto his left, and well read by Liam Thornton.
We'll just get back to that. So at Toronto, the men of football golf match will be on Friday the 9th of October. Got to tell you, I've been to a few of them. They're a great day out. If you want to go along, ring Darren Green at Toronto. Lots of fun to be had on that day, and great cause that is for. And it's just a great day out. The course is in great condition. I had a game there a couple of weeks ago and really enjoyed that course. But yeah, if you want to play, give Greenie a call out at Toronto. Get your name down because it'll fill up quick.
And now Braden Crowley, he's in behind, not for the first time this afternoon, and Josh Lowe at the near post. As we say, keepers should never get beaten at the near post, but it was still good reactions from the Eagles custodian, and now Nick Cowburn. Amid all the sirens, there are problems at the back here for Edgeworth if they can't stop Swan, and they could, but it will be a corner kick. They are on red alert, the Eagles defence.
They certainly are, and have to be, because Maitland really penetrating there. Crowley again, though. Gee, he just turned his ability to turn inside the box under pressure, creating a false save from low. This time Cowburn swing one in.
Now Cowburn bending and Wood, well, a free header just outside the 6-yard box, and he'll be thinking, probably should have done better there.
Yeah, he would definitely. You want to get those on target. You at least want to make the keeper make a save, and he'll be disappointed in his effort.
36, Joel Wood. Very experienced striker, spent some time with the Newcastle Jets as well. About 12 years ago now. Time in Sydney, some time overseas as well.
Just got Graham Jennings back here again with me. Just for another quick thought, Flash, your thoughts on where Maitland are and what they've got to do?
Maitland switching the ball so well to the flanks, but I'd like to see him ping it into Crowley a little bit more. We've seen how dangerous he is over the last couple of minutes, and this is where the defences are tiring. So play it to his feet, play him in the box, and let him get some shots on target.
That's the key, and that's just some wise words there from Graham Jennings. Anyone that would know, it's definitely him. Word is, get the ball into the feet of Crowley.
Just to what Graham was saying there, Swan had an opportunity to really fire one across goal, then instead he looked for the back heel. So that's probably what Michael Bulch is going to be saying at half-time. Get the ball into Crowley and get it along the tarmac, not up in the air, because we know that's not going to be his strength. That's where you want to hit Joel Wood, but not Braden Crowley.
But to put it in perspective from what Graham was saying, you look who's marking him, and tightly the majority of the time, it's Josh Evans. And, you know, if he isn't the best defender in the league, he's certainly, you know, one out of the box. There's no doubt about that, and being that way for a number of years. If he's going to pay Crowley that much attention, Crowley's just, to even get shots on goal, he's got to be absolutely spectacular.
And I think that's where Joel Wood comes into it. Here is Thompson towards Joel Wood. It was just in behind him. He did track it back well. The strike was well blocked by Mitch Hunter, and then Pat Wheeler comes away with possession. It's all hands to the pump here for Edgeworth. They're sitting back, and Maitland looking for the equaliser. Thompson with some speed in towards Crowley. That was fired across goal. That's the thing, while Edgeworth are watching Braden Crowley so closely with Josh Evans' attention, his full focus on the Maitland striker. That's where Joel Wood on the right can sneak in and maybe just cause some problems. We've seen him already, Joel Wood. He's had some slight openings. Scored 14 goals last season.
Don't forget the Harry Schnitzel man of the match, particularly in the second half. Let us know what you think, who it should go to.
Well, it's too hard to pick at this point.
Sure,
After not even the first half gone. But yeah, get your votes into us in the second half. James Thompson again. He's shown some good pace down the left edge. Thompson's clearance, well, it was straight into Thompson. Drops it back to Thornton. And, well, that would have been a massive let-off for Edgeworth if he knocked that one over the sideline in the end. They've done well. And that attempted pass from Carl Thornton has gone astray. And now Josh Rose almost in behind Tom Davies. Important toe in there.
Absolutely from Davies. He doesn't get a toe in there and Josh Rose is on goal. He's going to go on target. You know that.
Liam Thornton towards Thompson. Pat Wheeler strong again. Got the boot in. Angled the pass. Hayden Bryce. Keanu Moore wins the foul. Inside the final 40 seconds or so of regulation time in this first half. We might have a little bit of stoppage time.
All the balls out, but Jimmy Gardner, just tell us quickly your formation in the under-9s.
We only have 6 outfielders, so pretty much 2-2-2. Let them run, have some fun.
Yeah, that's the way, mate, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? And I bet the kids are enjoying it.
I've had the team for 3 years now, and they're starting to play a little bit of football, which is good to see as well. Let's look out for some youngsters coming through the net program there in a couple of years for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, Jimmy Gardner. Well, if he's the coach, Bart, you know.
Well, here is a chance for a Tatey who loops it over Matt Trott. It hits the post on the rebound, and it is in for Edgeworth. They soaked up all the pressure, and they make Maitland pay right on half-time. And it's Jose Tatey scoring another important goal for the Eagles.
Well, Bart, after scrambling, Trot off the post, and then Jose there, just what about the finish? He just absolutely made sure it was going middle of goal and at a pace where Trot wasn't going to get a hand to it. Good finish in the end, and Edgeworth, they'll go into half-time absolutely ecstatic. Grand final score at 2-0 last year to Edgeworth.
2-0 before half-time. And I tell you what, gee, you probably got to say, Maitland's been stiff here. It's not a 2-0 first half, is it, CT? And they're going to go in down 2-0. Last season's premiers, the champions, lead it at the break here at Jack McLaughlin Oval. It was Maitland with a lot of the half chances, but Edgeworth punished them when it counted. Half-time, it is Edgeworth Eagles 2, Maitland FC 0. And to be honest, CT, Maitland head in there at half-time thinking, we're down by 2, but we can really fight back in the second half. They've shown a lot in the final third, but it's just been their finishing.
Yeah, so look, for me, the game has been a lot closer than what this scoreline suggests. Both teams have had opportunities. Maitland definitely had their chances on goal. Woods, Crowley in particular, and others for that matter. Look, being 2-0 down, the message from Bolts will probably be, okay, we're 2-0 down, guys, but we've had 15 chances. We're going to put some of these in the back of the bag, and that'll be the probably the main message coming from him, you would expect, because they haven't been outplayed. This game has been really close. It's just Edgeworth, that first ball from Rose, that delivery, and then the finish, and then just as we saw then from Jose, a solid finish into the back of the net after hitting the post. So look, you know, Maitland will be disappointed, but they'll come out firing in the second half, and the next goal, if it goes to Maitland, will really be an interesting point, because they'll be thinking they can go on with it if they do.
Yeah, CT, I don't want to say this too late because we're up here in the Eagles' nest here at Edgeworth, but would you say Maitland has somewhat outplayed them in the majority of the match, and Edgeworth just on the counter have got them twice, stung them twice?
Just whisper that, because that's about what's happened. And and we'll just wait till Millsy goes away, and then we'll let it go. Yeah, no, that's about what's happened. And I think that you would be... Look, Bolchi's going to be really disappointed at the moment, but as I said, they'll just come out, they'll look to get the first goal, and then when they do, they'll believe and know they can go on with it from there.
Yes, just take out your teeth.
Yeah, I'm not.
We'll take a break. We'll be back in 10. The Eagles leading it by 2-0 at the break. Welcome back to Jack McLaughlin Oval in Edgeworth. It is round 1 of the NPL Northern New South Wales. And we don't have a football. That is the issue at the moment. We're just waiting a football. And it was goals from Will Bauer and Jose Atadi in the first half, which are the difference between these two sides at the moment in a half where Maitland probably had the better of the play, territory, possession in the final third, but they couldn't make it count. And that's going to be the question in this second half. Can they make it count? And still, don't know what's going on. Chris Turner hasn't returned from half-time either. Maybe he's got something to do with this issue. Just scores at the other grounds that we have at the moment. Lambton Jaffers 1-0 over Lake Macquarie with about 5 minutes left in that one. Charlestown Azzurri, they are down 1-0 to Adamstown at home. Western and Newcastle Olympic at 0-0, and Magic leading Valentine 2-0. So here we go. The referees are also waiting for, and they're heading back out onto the park. Normally it's the other way around, but this afternoon the referees taking their time. So a big second half effort coming here for Maitland. Can Joel Wood and Braden Crowley, Nick Cowburn as well, strike up a combination in the final third and conjure up some kind of comeback? They should have good chemistry, Maitland, considering 9 of the 11 out there played in the grand final last year. Not too much change. Edgeworth get us underway in the second 45 minutes. Here's their captain, Josh Evans. Not a great start to the second half for the Eagles. Cowburn is going to leave it for Tom Davies. Maitland slowly making their way down the park. Remembering they've beaten Edgeworth just once in 25 matches since 1997. And that was last year. Here's a high boot and a free kick for the Eagles. That came last season in round 7, where they scored 2 goals in the last 5 minutes. Sean Pratt with the equaliser, and then Ryan Clark with the winner to win it 2-1 at Cook Square. But that has been the only success Maitland have tasted against Edgeworth in recent memory. In my lifetime, CT. And your mic is on?
Yeah, I'm back. Yes, Bart. I have absolutely no idea what you just said, but I'm sure it was true.
Well, I said in my lifetime, Maitland have only beaten Edgeworth once. Is that a long time? I know you don't remember the first few years of your life, so it probably doesn't seem as long, but getting into some deep topics here. It's a shoulder to shoulder. Well, a little bit of shirt grabbing as well. Tom Davies, well, he's ripped off the shirt of Jose. Well, just double check.
Didn't lay a hand on him, but
He's derobed.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, that's one of the more interesting things you'll see. And one thing I did just realise was, I was thinking that's Dan Fabrizio, and I thought he's on the bench, so he is the one change for Edgeworth in this second half. So Dan Fabrizio out there for the Eagles, and here's a ball in behind, trying to find Keanu Moore.
We can confirm Bauer is injured, and that's the reason for the substitution.
So Bauer gone, Fabrizio on. He's doing it.
And now we see Crowley coming out to the wide on the left. So Aidan Bryce will have his hands full here as we speak.
Yeah, so Joel Wood playing right in the centre of the park. Are they going to use his aerial threat in this second half and use the speed of Crowley down the flank? So that's the difficulty this year for Michael Bolch. He's got 2 out-and-out strikers who are good right at the point of the attack. So what does he do? How does he work them in together? Joel Wood and Braden Crowley. Here's a free kick for Maitland. Good position. Joel Wood will be stationing himself around the penalty spot. Nick Cowburn, we know, can deliver a dangerous ball.
Well, we've got Graham Jennings here. I remember in the Centennial Cup playing against Argentina, he's hit one from about this spot and he hit it about 40 metres beyond the goal line. Kicked it straight out, he did.
What are you trying to do? Stitch him up or something?
I could only put it down to adrenaline. I didn't know whether he was going to shoot or whether it was cross, but it went nowhere near anyone or anything.
Well, let's hope Nick Cowburn doesn't suffer the same fate. Well, not a bad delivery, but straight to Josh Lowe again. And I had a text from Paul Arundale. As you hear that siren again, we'll come back to that after James Thompson speeds off down the right. Good skills here from James Thompson. Curls it in, and Maitland have one back, and they deserve that. Came off a leg. Braden Crowley might be claiming it. It matters little because Maitland have halved the deficit, and they are on their way back.
Well, there's a scuffle in the goal mouth. The referee really late on the scene, didn't want to know about it.
Well, I missed it, CT.
And more importantly, Josh Lowe, he was not going to back down. I thought there were punches about to be thrown there.
Well, I missed the scuffle in the goal mouth because I was watching Braden Crowley. Now, if you missed it as well, you can scroll back on the YouTube feed, give it the old double tap on the left, and you'll be able to go back and just check that out.
Either way, we said before half-time, Maitland will come out wanting the first goal. If they get it, they'll believe they can go on with it. They've changed Crowley out into the left. They've put Wood up in the middle, up on the point. Crowley certainly got the ability to cut and go inside, and Woods, we know he can finish. So, interesting move from Bolch.
Well, this match has all the hallmarks of a cracking last half an hour, doesn't it? We've had a really good spectacle this afternoon. But I tell you what, Maitland are certainly tracking back towards the Eagles here, and well, we said they didn't deserve to be down by a couple. They probably deserve to be level after all the chances they created in the first half. Davies now onto Swan, just hit his toe, and now Wheeler, well, just bobbled past him. Now some mistakes made at the back by Edgeworth. In the end, they've cleaned it up, and Keanu Moore surging through the middle of the park, straight onto the leg of Carl Thornton. Crucial intervention. Now James Thompson to Joel Wood, very open at the start of this second half. Here is Wood onto his left, curls it towards the back post, and Josh Lowe, who was imperious in the first half, has just had a couple of moments in the second.
This game's got some feeling in it, Bart. These guys here, everyone says or hints that this season doesn't mean anything. Needs to watch this because there's a lot of feeling, a lot of tension. He's been a long time away from it.
Crowley, great ball in. Swan just couldn't quite rise high enough. His brother's there to track it down and find Carl Thornton. The overlapping run, Swan will win a corner. And if this second is anything like the first half, Maitland are going to get a lot of chances because Edgeworth were doing a lot of defending after they took the 1-0 advantage.
Where I'd like to see Edgeworth maintain their width. They had a lot of width early in the first half. Just at this point, it's been a little narrower than what they started with.
Cowburn was dipping towards that near post. Probably would have liked a bit more height. Now Tom Davies. Going to curl one straight onto the boot of Pat Wheeler. Great first touch just to bring it down. Find Keanu Moore. His first touch let him down. And now, well, here we go, CT. Here's another little spot find. Not much has come of it. And there's grabbing and pushing and shoving. Joel Wood now, shoulder to shoulder with Mitch Hunter. Josh Evans. Now Dobson. The pass straight onto the boot of Swan. Heavy touch though. Bryce. Connecting with Rose here. Playing up top this season and falls for Fabrizio. Tom Davies. If he doesn't get a toe in, Christian Brymora makes it 3-1 at the back post for sure. It was an open goal for him. That moment so important. He'll probably be disappointed after his defending when Will Bauer scored the first goal for Edgeworth, but since then he has been impeccable, Tom Davies. And now Joel Wood away down the left. He has Cowburn in the middle. He cuts it back to Cowburn. Mitch Hunter did enough just to thwart him. Chances coming at both ends. This is an attractive match of football, CT.
Yeah, terrific to watch this. There's just so much action going on. The teams need to do here is maintain their shape. They don't want to give anything away because of the emotion and the feeling that's in this one. They just get themselves settled and go again, Maitland, and look to find Crowley as they obviously got him as a target man.
Well, they conceded just 24 goals last season in 20 matches, Edgeworth. And now Josh Rose hanging it up towards the back post. Matt Trott did quite well. He's caught actually in the net. Just had his right boot tangled there. And their best defence in the competition last year, Edgeworth. Maitland. Outstanding attack as well. Both scored around the mid-40s. Edgeworth 44, Maitland 43 goals last season. Intriguingly, CT Edgeworth finishing third last year, 5 points behind Maitland. They actually scored more goals and conceded fewer. But the Magpies scored goals when they counted. They really, really counted. The goals that mattered. Here's a free kick for Edgeworth now. We've gone just over 55 minutes. Round one of the NPL Northern New South Wales, and it's a grand final rematch. Edgeworth Eagles were 2-0 up at the break. Maitland have pegged one back early in this second half. Now the Eagles with an opportunity. Had a near miss moments ago. Tom Davies doing the clean-up work for Maitland. Now a Tatey onto Evans, chests it in, and the captain has scored for Edgeworth. The referee says straight off the chest, and Josh Evans, he scored a few goals last year. He's back on the score sheet early on in 2020.
Well, what a finish there from Rose. You know, it doesn't matter what part of your body they go in off. If you see it at the back of the net, you're just happy, and that was exactly the case just there when Maitland really were threatening and had themselves back slightly on top again. An important goal there for Edgeworth.
You'd probably say Maitland just shooting themselves in the foot just when they couldn't afford to concede, and they did. Josh Evans just allowed to run straight through the middle of the box. Here's another free kick for Edgeworth, just compounding Maitland's frustration after their defending went awry again there, CT. Josh Evans, just no one on him. No one on him. No pressure.
No, that's exactly right, and Bolch won't be happy with the defensive efforts of his team on that occasion.
Now, if you went back and analysed that, you're basically saying he's just a free man coming in. We said earlier in the match he actually didn't come up for the corner. On that occasion he did, and maybe Maitland weren't aware of it. Smart play from Josh Evans. Now Christian Brymora. Could he make it? 4-1, yes he can! First appearance of the Eagles, first goal for Christian Brymora. The perfect start. And Maitland, after they started the half so strongly, they are falling to pieces.
Brymora gets his start here at Edgeworth, and after a season last year at Broadmeadow, he didn't get too much on. He'll be ecstatic with that goal going in for him. Trot, not sure on the other hand. I was impeded with vision, but I'm guessing he's not too happy with his effort there. Either way, it's 4-1. Edgeworth over Maitland.
I tell you what, last year it just seemed like the weight of the world was on his shoulders, Christian Brymora. The pressure was building. He couldn't score, but he found some form at the back end of last season. And now he's got a pretty decent recent run in the NPL Northern New South Wales. That's 3 in 5 now. Finished off the season with magic pretty well last year.
Christian, take him away, Christian. Take him away. Christian, take the big man away.
Well, here's a card from Andrew Higgins to Swan, probably for too much chat to the official.
He says, which one are you? Turn around, let me see your number.
That is Matt Swan with the 12 on his back. And Andrew Higgins is still writing in his book. Now, you can hear that siren against CT.
No, that's Bay 2 this time.
They've been going off all afternoon. Paul Arundel sent me a text saying it was the NRL's 6 again siren. They've just misplaced it. They need to send that to Hunter Stadium. First game of the season for the Knights at home against the Eels.
Go side, Paddy, go side. Good.
Here's Aidan Bryce giving away the free kick. So, Maitland, well, what has gone on here for the premiers of last season?
Well, certainly didn't predict this result, but Michael Bolch will be extremely disappointed at this point in the game. Don't forget to start thinking about your Harry Schnitty's man of the match. It'd be interesting to get Graham Jennings' thoughts on his man of the match at some point during this half. Just while we're here, I want to mention a mate of mine, Damien Ben from Casino, Northern New South Wales. Now, Benny is someone I know well, who played for the Casino Cougars in rugby league, front rower, and loves soccer. He's absolutely turned on rugby league, and he's up there watching us live up in his house in Casino, Northern New South Wales. So hello, Benny, and what a great footballer he was in the North Coast region, and club captain, and now he's helping out as assistant coach. Is Benny won lots of premierships, trophies, and someone to be feared in view of his opposition. Damien Ben, welcome to the conversion of your football to the real football, and I hope you're enjoying the coverage.
Is that your slogan? From your football to the real football? You're trying to just turn people. Here's Christian Brymora. Could he grab a second? Not with a strike like that.
No, that's just a little sledge on him personally, Bart.
I thought it could be an advertising campaign you get involved in, CT, but just in terms of the other matches, Western 1-0 over Olympic, Broadmeadow leading Valentine 3-0, Adamstown over Charlestown 1-0, and Lambton have beaten Lake Macquarie by a goal to 0. And Aidan Bryce has found Christian Brymora, and he has tried to find Fabrizio. Josh Rose almost away from Tom Davies. Another important toe in from him. And now the run down the far sideline from Cowburn. Early ball, and good save from Josh Lowe. He just didn't get the power behind the shot, did Braden Crowley. Another chance goes begging for Maitland. That's a chance that Edgeworth would have taken. They've just been so clinical, haven't they, in the final third?
Yeah, it was a little bit bobbly coming in front of Crowley, and it was difficult to get the timing right on it.
Well, I still wouldn't say Maitland are out of the game. I know it's 4-1, but the chances that we've seen them create, here is another one brewing here for Brymora. I should say Crowley Forgive me, it's been a while. Here's Josh Lowe. He's going to look to launch it long or not. He's going to find Wheeler. Now Josh Rose, heavy touch. Did well to keep it inside the line. Brian Mora had the skates on for a moment, but was able just to ride himself. All comes to naught though for Edgeworth. Great to have your company this afternoon on Bar TV Sports. Across the world. CT, across the world.
Yep, that's certainly the case, and you can. She's from anywhere.
I thought you were going to say you can bet anywhere as well, or something like that.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Davies. And if you are watching from Victoria, because I know the NPL down there has been canned for the year due to the spread of COVID-19, we hope you're enjoying the action this afternoon. Fabrizio, was he clipped there by Tom Davies? No. And he's saying it was Tom Davies who got the final touch. Andrew Higgins says it wasn't. And here we go, CT. This is heartwarming stuff. A change for Maitland. Matt Comerford finally is back on a football pitch in the NPL Northern New South Wales. Had a year off last year due to injury. He's back in 2020. Can he add some spark here for Maitland?
Oh, he'll add some spark. Don't worry about that. Camo, I was talking to him before the game. He said he wasn't quite back to fitness, but if there was any push and shove there earlier, he'll be the first one in attendance.
Here's Wood.
But Comerford, he's got all the game. He can shoot, he can dribble, he can pass. He's a great defender. Michael Bolt's thinking, all right, we need to change something around here, and he's the man to do it.
Thompson. Tried to go with the outside of his boot. Dobson curling it to Brian Mora. Rose. Little clip too high.
Cross, right foot flick.
I can tell you, Bart, there's some votes coming in for that man, Josh Evans. There's been some for Rose, Pat Wheeler and Brian Mora.
Davies. Again, that cross letting down the Magpies.
And for Maitland at this stage, it's just one, and that's for Braden Crowley. So keep them coming in.
So Josh Lowe trying to pick out Aiden Bryce. Just ran under the ball. Well, if they're going to find a route back, it needs to start right about now here for the Magpies. But they will remember the late show last year that the Magpies put on up at Cook Square Park, where they scored a couple in the final five. Still a long way left in comparison to that. But they have 3 goals to get back level. It's a mountain to climb for Maitland. Swan, Comerford, he fired that one across towards him. Now Crowley just was swarmed by Eagles there. And now Joel Wood, cross goal. Mitch Hunter is able just to scoop it up to Cowburn. Thornton. Now Davies finds the new man on the pitch, Matt Comerford.
Good play from Comerford.
Cowburn to Crowley, little ricochet in there. The clearance was a scuffed one from Atadi. Thornton, well, that's a poor ball from Liam Thornton. Totally releases the pressure that Maitland were applying. It's like heating up a house at the moment, CT. You put the heater on and then you let all the doors, leave all the doors open.
Right, on that note, caught up with Graham Jennings here again. Flash, what's your thoughts on the game so far, and is 4-1 fair?
Well, hang on a sec, CT, because Josh Rose is bearing down on goal. Brian Mora in the middle looking for a double. Good defending from Carl Thornton.
Well, who would have thought that turnaround straight after half-time where Maitland just get back into the game. They look as though they're getting on top, and then those quick goals from Edgeworth. But you take the shots, you get more chance of scoring a goal. I'm really impressed with Josh Rose just here coming towards us. I think he's had a fantastic game, scoring, setting players up, and his energy level throughout the game. And as I say that, he's having an early mark.
It's often the way, isn't it? Would he be someone that maybe your Harry Schnitzel's man of the match if he was to stay on or at this point in the game?
Oh, easily. He's one of the senior players in the team, probably one of the senior players out there. His experience has shown today. Some of his touches have been fantastic. And as I said, the energy level that he's shown the younger players has been great throughout the whole game.
Here's Jackson's ball in towards Brymora. Maitland work it away.
There's some words there from Graham Jennings. And before we let you go, Flash, can you see any way back into this for Maitland?
To be honest, no. But stranger things have happened. We saw how quickly rapid fire the Edgeworth could score. I think Maitland need to score soon. Buoyed by the fact that Wood is still up around the front area. He's very mobile up there. He's always a danger. Crowley's a danger up there. So it's just a matter of getting the ball to these players consistently. I can see Cowburn's a little bit deeper now, which is getting him on the ball a lot more. So maybe he can set up a few things up.
Just a quick change of topic while there's a substitution going on. We've been interviewing some ex-Socceroos from the era of the 40s and 1950s. How have you found your experience so far going through this interviewing process?
It's been such a pleasure to interview these guys. From such a historical point, they were the mainstays of the State League in those days, the Cessnocks, the Wallsends, West Wallsends, and I think it sort of argues well for our competition as a whole. Historically, it's a great competition, and as we're witnessing today, we've still got great matches being played. But to talk to those guys, to see what it was like in those days, I think it's viewing that all players should be able to watch.
Well, it's just an archive in our history, isn't it? It's something that it's great to have been a part of and still a part of going through the process with you, and looking forward to that when it comes out and gets closer. We'll let people know where they can watch it. But for young players in northern New South Wales, you get a good look at our history through these people, and haven't they got some great stories?
They certainly have, CT. Thanks to Graham and thanks to yourself, CT. And let's hope it inspires the next generation. Here's a Tatey with a strike. Well, he had some time there just to pick out the corner, but plays it high and wide. And that's the thing. We've had a while since we've had a member of the national side growing up in these parts. So let's hope it's not too long until we get another local in the national side.
Graham's done a lot of research, as I have done some research as well, and just getting to know the history of this region better. Really looking forward to these interviews coming out, and when they do, as Graham has said, be great for not just the young players but the older players as well. Sure, it'll be of high interest, so we're looking forward to that. And thank all of the people involved, including the Federation, who have made this one possible.
Zach Thomas's clearance deflects in front. Well, that just shows Maitland's luck this afternoon. It's spun perfectly to Tyson Jackson, who hits the post for Brizio. And a good save from Matt Trott. Well, he did there what he tried to do in last season's grand final. He succeeded on that occasion. And that was to try and stop Dan Fabrizio scoring. Fabrizio with a couple in the decider last September. The grand final will be a little later this year. Let's hope it gets here all the same. Here's the ball up the ground in front of Crowley. He has Wood inboard. Does he use Joel Wood? He doesn't. He tries to shape it onto his right boot. Runs to Comerford. Blocked there by Tyson Jackson. Now Thompson onto Joey O'Connor. Maitland local, who is out there now, and Crowley just slipped. Will be a Maitland throw-in. That was the change just while we were having a chat there to Graham. Joey O'Connor, who's out there. He's come through the Jets youth system. He's from Tanambit. Now playing with his local side. Davies, and here's Josh Evans just scuffing that one over the sideline. Coming through with the touch. And Tyson Jackson just has gone to ground here. He's just come onto the park. And this just could throw a spanner in the works here for Edgeworth. So Dan Fabrizio out there, Keanu Moore, Tyson Jackson. They've made the 3 changes.
So what a delight this would be for Keelan Hamilton come into this side. Admittedly, he's been a big part of the preparation with Damien Zane putting this group together, and Zane's obviously holding the reins as he's done successfully for a long, long time. But you still want to get away well.
Christian Brymora.
And away well they have. So he would be very excited. He's up out of his chair. I rang him. I don't think I'd actually ever met him before, Bart, and I rang him yesterday and I said, you know, have we met? And he said, oh, I've been watching Bar TV for like a number of years now. So that's good. He said, you know my dad? And I said, oh, who's your dad? And he said, John. Oh, yeah, I know John Hamilton. Yeah. So it's like, oh, you're old mate now. So I guess we have probably come across each other, and we do have John Hamilton up in here in the stand. So at some point, if we get lucky enough, he may say hello to us, Bart. I'm not sure. But he would, either way, he'd be very proud of his son and the achievements. Not what's just happening here at Edgeworth, but where he's been through.
Well, here's Matt Comerford into the path of Joey O'Connor. Well, let's move away from the sunshine and the rainbows to the bad stuff, CT. What has gone wrong for Maitland here?
Well, look, they've certainly opened up chances, and
Tyson Jackson, it could yet get worse. The defending premiers on match day 1 of the next season, beaten 5-1. You couldn't see that, surely. But it may well happen. Aiden Bryce, cross goal.
Well, the first thing you're going to do when you get beaten by a score of 4-1, when you say what's gone wrong, you're going to look at your defence. And I'm not just talking about the back four. I'm talking from your middle top man up front right through to your keeper. Collectively, how have you gone about that? What your strategy has been, what your plan has been to shut, a side like Edgeworth down who like to hold possession. Open holes up. They like to spread you wide and then attack you through width and through the centre. So there's no peace. How do you stop that? And that's where Michael Bolch will go back and have another look. When you've got people like Rose and then sitting in front of him, Pat Wheeler, those two guys centrally alone at the back, they form something different for Edgeworth. They're solid every week. Every year they're solid.
Yeah, like a metronome, aren't they? Christian Brymora now to a Tatey. Little dink up and over the top of Wood. Ed Bryce. Just check those scores at the other grounds as it stands currently.
Sorry, Matt Comerford has got an injury here, and he's in trouble.
Oh, that's awful. It looks like a right hamstring, by the way. And here's Fabrizio in behind. Well, he was too tricky for his own good there, and Matt Trott just picked it off his boot. And and you can see the injury clear as day there. It's a right hamstring. And he is frustrated, as you would expect he would be, Matt Comerford. You just wonder this year, CT, with the shorter pre-season, whether it's going to mean more injuries.
Could well do, but in his own words before the start of the game, he did say he was at 80% fitness and will be completely frustrated by that.
And now Brymora, he is in behind. This is for 5-1. No, it isn't. He's offside. Yeah, so this rule where you can make more than 3, go up to 5 substitutions, is available in the NPL Northern New South Wales. We were unsure whether it was. Well, it's clear that that rule is in place because Adam Corley has replaced Jose Atadi now. Of course, that rule was changed due to the pandemic and matches being played pretty regularly. And they're actually looking at keeping that moving forward, IFAB. I don't really agree with it moving forward because I think it is going to increase the gulf between sides that have a lot of depth and sides that don't, but we'll see what happens moving forward. That's moving from 3 to 5 substitutes, CT. Are you a fan of it? Are you not?
Well, it's interesting. I was having a chat to Graham Jennings a bit earlier about exactly that, and he was saying they do that in Europe. I'm not. Someone else will be able to help as we.
Oh, hang on a second.
How you're going in the middle of the park? Pat Wheeler.
Well, it's
Keanu
Keanu
takes
Moore.
Control of his side.
Yeah, it's Keanu Moore and Nick Cowburn. It looked like there was. I wouldn't call it a headbutt, but the heads moved towards each other. It's sort of like it's not a full headbutt, but it's, you know, you move your head towards someone slowly and you get to a point where your heads are touching. It's not the Zinedine Zidane headbutt, but it's sort of it's the 2020 version of a headbutt.
He'll be frustrated. He's frustrated. There's no doubt about it. But back to that point about the substitutions, and someone correct me if I'm wrong here, but that discussion with Graham Jennings earlier was about potentially the number of games that they play over such a long period. You know, and just looking after the welfare of the players to be able to make those substitutions because of injuries. And this is a good idea in this case here.
Still a little bit of talk out there.
There's 2 people, mate, go! Ball.
Just simmering away here. And probably the fact that it's now 4-1, the difference. It's just taken a little bit of a sting out of this second half that we were seeing earlier on. Dobson, he just shovels that one over the line. Final 10 minutes now at Jack McLaughlin Oval. Last year's champions, Edgeworth, heading towards a round 1 victory.
A couple of votes trickling in for Christian Brymora. As we get towards the end of the game, get Graham Jennings' view on his thoughts of the man of the match, if he's prepared to share them.
Well, Brymora has been good. Well, Josh Evans is always good. That's the issue. Josh Evans is always so good that he has to do something really special, doesn't he?
He certainly does, but we'll just see how this one pans out. But I'm going to see if we can get Bart, if we can get a news flash.
I think one of the best things about the Edgeworth team is Pat Wheeler. You know what he's going to do each week. He sweeps in behind his midfield, and at times at a game like this where he can just pick off passes, play people forward, play people into space, and it's just what ticks Edgeworth over each game they play.
Well, he's sat just in front of the back 4 all game, and as an anchoring midfielder, he's done exactly what he just did in the scuffle. He's just controlled his team. In the scuffle, he's separated the 2 teams. Let's get on with the job. And in this case, he's moved the team around. He's moved himself around. And spot on with what you say. I like the way he's gone about his business.
Yeah, it's amazing how one player can have such a calming influence on the whole team, though. You see him, he gets the ball, he's always selective in his passes, and it just seems to spread throughout the whole team.
How many boys did Brad Wheeler get you to this afternoon?
Oh, a couple, and a couple more to come a bit after.
Oh, he's just gone to the fridge again to get you some more. Here's a ball up and over the top. No,
and
being unfair to Brad, but Pat has been outstanding, hasn't he, this afternoon?
Oh, there's no doubt. And just in your career, playing for Australia, over a 20-year period, who would be someone that you would say has similar attributes, calming, controlled the game, and led our country well?
I was lucky. I played with a lot of creative midfielders, and Oscar Crino comes to mind, where you could play him into any sort of difficult situation and you get a ball back or it sets something up. It's players like that. Joe Watson in his day as well. Ken Murphy. All midfielders. I also had the fortunate play with forwards such as John Cosmina. Again, a player you could feed a ball in any situation, and he's just a calming influence on the ball. Lay it off, get into a goal-scoring situation.
Use your man Wheeler on the ball.
I thought he was going to take it towards goal there for a minute, but opted against it. And now Maitland
Some
play it out.
wonderful names you've just pulled out of there, and Ben Holmes is looking at us like we could have been talking about, the Qatar under-9s, but some great plays in amongst all of that list.
There's some space in front of Crowley. Andrew Higgins was going to play advantage. Good refereeing there. Was going to play advantage. He's going to bring it back for the free kick. Well, this is last chance saloon, isn't it, here for Maitland? I know it's 3 goals, but they need to get a wriggle on if they are going to fight back. And Edgeworth's defence, well, I'd love to go back and check the stats out, because I think you'll find they haven't conceded 4 goals in a match probably since 2015, which was Damien Zane's first year in charge. I can't think of a match where Edgeworth would have conceded 4 goals in at least the recent past. It would have to be back 2015. I think they drew 4-4 with South Cardiff. CT, don't look at me like that.
I'm just going to keep Flush here just for a moment longer. Just see how this one hands out.
And now Thompson. And I know what Smudge should be saying here. Maitland are playing so narrow, aren't they, through that middle channel. Not using the width on the left or right. Here's
That's
Thomas.
true, and Edgeworth have been able to stretch wider, and that's been a real key for them today. Flash, just talking about names. What are some of the local names that fit into that category that, Socceroos I'm talking about, that you have spent some time with?
One standout, we've mentioned Katara Junior Club quite a few times today, and one of their juniors, their most famous junior, of course, is Peter Stone, ex-Adamstown, ex-Western Suburbs, St George. If ever there was a calming influence on a game...
Oh, here's a ball through to Crowley. Good save from Josh Lowe again. Another chance for Maitland, and snuffed out by the Eagles keeper.
Peter again was one of those hard-working midfielders, but at the same time had the class and poise to create so much whenever he played.
He could have come straight out of Jimmy Gardner's under-9 side, couldn't he? That sort of coaching, and interesting, talking to these older players about the coaching and the lack thereof, and what they used to do to stay fit and how they train.
It's amazing, isn't it, where they'd turn up to an Australian game and they'd meet the players who they're going to play with at the gate. There was no coaching involved. Some of the feedback we've had from some of the players is that the captain was responsible for the coaching. They had a manager and selectors who would choose a team, but the captain on the day was the one who actually chose what tactics the team would play.
It's incredible, isn't it? And other stories that come out, like working all day and then playing against the Czechs, because I can't say Czechoslovakia.
Here is Tyson Jackson curling it towards that.
But working all day and then turning up to the game, walking to the ground with your boots to number 2 sports ground and playing. Stories like that. A lot to look forward to. Some great work that these guys have done, and I'm sure that when the interviews are done and complete, there'll be a great view.
They will be. I'm really looking forward to the finished product, and I think it's something that we can all take great pride in, that these are the people who laid the foundations for a lot of us to play and for what we see out here today as well.
Yeah, thank you. And that's Graham Jennings, and what a pleasure it's been having him have the odd chat with us this afternoon, Bart.
Yeah, and CT, I just want to hear you say Czechoslovakia again.
It's like saying David Tanchevsky for me. It's a similar thing.
Well, you actually say it all right. You said it pretty well there, Dave Tanchevsky.
I'm just going to say the Czechs, with respect.
So Crowley, and another good chance there before to make it 4-2. And in a shortened season, I really wouldn't mind just scoring at least 1, bridge the gap back to 2, and doesn't have as substantial an effect on their for and against CT, especially when you feel it's going to be tight this year. We're seeing some upsets already. Lake's really pushing Lambton today. That would have been a huge point if they were able to hang on to a point there against the Jaffers, a star-studded Jaffers lineup. Here's Joey O'Connor. He's going to leave that one for Josh Lowe. So around the grounds, Adamstown. That would be an upset, wouldn't it, CT? Adamstown 1-0 over Azuri. Edgeworth, obviously, heading towards the 3 points here against Maitland. Magic, wow. Leading Valentine 5-0, and I tipped Valentine, CT, so how good does that look? And Western, here is Christian Brian Moore. I'll come back to that result because Western were up 1-0 and Newcastle Olympic lead 2-1 now with 5 minutes left in that one. So Alex
Oh, here we go, Bart. Czechoslovakia.
Taragoulias.
No, Tagarilius. There we go.
I was trying to remember it off the top of my head because I don't have it here, CT.
Yeah, Alex Tag. Interesting. Keep your votes coming in. We've got another minute or two, but since the great Graham Jennings has made a point about Pat Wheeler, haven't they been flooding in for him?
Yeah, they have. They have been flooding in all afternoon.
And that's...
Thanks for your votes.
We'll head down there and see if we can catch up with Pat Wheeler.
Yeah, what an afternoon for Alex Tagarulias, CT.
Or just tag to his mates.
Or tag to you maybe from this point forward. Maybe to me as well. Here's a corner kick for Maitland. Less than a minute to go. And you're going to have a chat with someone at the end of the game, is that right, CT? So when we put up the slate screen at the end of the match, just the graphic over the screen, don't go anywhere because CT's heading downstairs. You're going to chat to a few people.
Yeah, at least look the man of the match. We'll confirm that when the whistle goes.
Here's Cowburn's corner.
There's been a number of players out here for Edgeworth that have played particularly well today, and I like the way they've stretched things out, as we see Aidan Bryce on the right, dragging literally Maitland, who you mentioned stayed fairly narrow all game, Bart. For the most part.
Here's O'Connor. And now Pat Wheeler winning the ball back for Maitland, off Maitland, as he has done so often this afternoon. Jackson, now the run of Josh Evans, the centre back into the final third. What can he create here? He takes on his opposite, Zach Thomas. And is he looking for Mitch Hunter? He was waiting for the run. Instead, Josh Evans just playing with the Maitland defence at the moment. Pat Wheeler. Now Mitch Hunter tried to trick his way past Swan. Jackson. Does he size up the shot? The overlapping run of Aidan Bryce. And the ball in, gobbled up by Matt Trott. Under some pressure from Dan Fabrizio. Here's Joel Wood, just in front of Chris Turner on the sideline there, actually. I'll try and turn your mic up, CT, so we can actually have a chat. CT, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. I could have just almost got a touch then.
You're down on the sideline, so good to have a different perspective in stoppage time in this second half. Fabrizio looking for Keanu Moore. Picked off by Joey O'Connor. Couple in last year's grand final for Fabrizio. Came off the bench this afternoon. Probably could have had a couple again this afternoon in this second half. O'Connor just dinks it up the line. Final moments of this round one clash. The grand final rematch. It's going to be three straight for Edgeworth against Maitland.
And big moment for Edgeworth here. I mean, in a grand final rematch, looking at side here that's come out and played particularly well. They've really held their shape well. Defensively, they've been great. And for Keelan Hamilton, what a moment it is for him. We'll see if we can catch up with him in a minute. He'll want to see this game right out to the end.
So it's the perfect start for the Edgeworth Eagles in 2020. 3 straight against Maitland. They repeat the dose from the grand final last year. Disappointment for the Magpies. 2 goals in the first half for Edgeworth. Will Bauer and Jose Atati right on the stroke of halftime. That was a killer blow. They did get one back in the early stages of the second half. But 2 goals in the second 45 minutes from Josh Evans and Christian Brymora were enough to seal an emphatic victory for the Edgeworth Eagles to belatedly begin the 2020 season. Now we are going to head downstairs to Chris Turner in just a second for an interview post this one.
Yeah, but I'm here with Michael Bolch. Bolchy, tough start to the season. And we'll try and catch up with Pat Wheeler in just a moment. Just quickly, Bolchy, I know it's never good to get off to a poor start, but, mate, where'd you see that one?
Too clinical, mate. Realistically, we had enough chances in the first half and that, but they were just clinical in front of goals. They're fit, they move the ball quick. Every mistake we made, they seemed to pounce, and, we're going to be better. I think there was 2, maybe 3 goals from set pieces. So, yeah, look, not overly happy, mate, but they were too good for some of that. Take nothing away from them, they were very good.
Yeah, they were good, and thanks for your time, and I'm sure you'll regroup and be back stronger next week.
Cheers, Chrissy.
But we're just going to catch up with Pat Wheeler. Now, Wheels, you're our Harry Schnitzel man of the match, so enjoy a schnitty and a drink and whatever Harry's put in there for you. Mate, I'll just see if we can drop out this way just a fraction. But look, what a great opening performance for you guys. You had opportunities and you took them.
Yeah, it was a tough game, I thought. Obviously, we've had a bit of a time off, so need a bit more legs, I think, in the boys, but we're doing all right, I think.
Defensively, for me, you guys were great. You sat in front of the back 4. There were votes coming in. We were getting people to vote indirect. There were votes coming in for Josh Rose, certainly, and yourself. Graham Jennings has picked you out as the man of the match, the Harry Schnitty man of the match. But is that where you see you won the game in defence?
I think in the last 5 years we've probably had a pretty good defensive unit, so goals wins you games, but I suppose the defence wins you a premiership, so just keep working on it.
Well, that's fantastic. Congratulations. Enjoy the victory and go and get a schnitty in your guts.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Love a Harry Schnitty, so thanks.
No worries. That was Pat Wheeler.
How many schnitties has Pat Wheeler won, CT? Oh, how many schnitzels has Pat Wheeler won over the years?
He's won. It's I wonder he hasn't got a big belly, mate. But look, he a deserving winner. And as we said, Josh Rose had a great performance as well. And look, thoroughly for Edgeworth, they'll be ecstatic about that, especially Keelan Hamilton, his first day and game in. So, Bart, back up to you.
Thank you, CT. And that'll wrap us up for this afternoon. The opening match of the NPL Northern New South Wales. Edgeworth Eagles 2 strong this afternoon. 4-1 over Maitland FC. We will catch you next week for Lambton Jaffers up against the Western Bears. We'll catch you next Saturday.